Okay, good morning. Good morning to all of you. Uh, Today I will discuss about K electron capture. Okay, K electron capture. Let me discuss about this concept, K electron capture. What do you mean by this K electron capture? If we want to understand about this concept, let us think about what is an atom here. So all of us already we are aware of what is an atom. Nucleus is present here. This is a nucleus which carries the positive charge because of the protons, electrons which are revolving around the nucleus in different orbits. First orbit, K shell. This is K shell. This is L shell. This is M. Okay, this is M shell. Like this, in the different shells, the electrons are revolving around the nucleus. Revolving around the nucleus. Any nucleus can be written. Any nuclei I can consider nuclei. It can be written as XAZ. That is a nucleus. It is a nuclide. It is a nuclear, single nucleus. In this case here, Z representing atomic number. Z representing the atomic number. Atomic number representing number of protons. And A minus Z representing number of neutrons. Number of neutrons is represented by A minus Z, and protons which carries the positive charge, neutrons do not carry any amount of charge, and hence inside the nucleus, because of these protons, it carries the positive charge. Electrons which are revolving around the nucleus, they are having the negative charges here. And here, the nucleus, whatever it is said to be existing here, if it is absorbing this K shell, the orbital electron, this is an orbit, the orbital electron, usually the K shell electron. Why say this K shell electron only? Because K shell electron which is closer to the nucleus. Okay. M shell electron which is far away from this one. K shell electron, since it is closer to the nucleus, an electron, whatever it is present here, it may fall inside the nucleus. And this electron, once it is attracted towards the nucleus and fall inside the nucleus, this electron, it is making a reaction. It is interacting with the proton. Because inside the nucleus, protons are present here. Inside the nucleus, whichever the protons are present, this electron is absorbing by this nucleus. The electron, it is falling inside the nucleus. Inside the nucleus, the proton interacts with this electron. And hence, the number of protons here, it is reduced by 1. The number of protons, if it is equal to Z, the resultant nucleus after the electron is falling inside the nucleus, which electron that is? The K electron, once it is falling inside the nucleus here, this inside this nucleus, the number of protons, it is not equal to Z now, the number of protons is reduced as to Z minus 1. It is reduced as to Z minus 1. This phenomenon is called by the name K electron capture. So the meaning, in an excited nucleus, the nucleus is said to be in the excited level. Once the nucleus is said to be in the excited level, then the closest electron to that nucleus is said to be the K shell electron. This K shell electron is falling inside the nucleus absorbing that K shell electron, and hence inside this nucleus the number of protons are reduces by 1 here. Z is coming as Z minus 1 here because this electron interacts with this proton, and hence the proton number is decreases to 1, or maybe Z minus 1. I can consider initially if it is equal to Z. Now, if this electron, if it is removed here, then here there is a vacancy is created. That vacancy, whatever it has been created here now, then it has been rearranged. Electrons rearrangement that takes place here. The electron, whatever is present here in the K L shell, they may be occupying this particular vacancy here, and here there is a vacancy is created. Now this M shell electron occupying this vacancy here, like that, electrons rearrangement that takes place. Once the electrons rearrangement that takes place to fill up this particular vacancy here, why the vacancy is created? Because this K shell electron falling inside this nucleus, which is in the excited level. Now the excited nucleus coming to the lower level means ground level, and this electron, once it is absorbing here, this nucleus is having a number of protons. It was Z, now it is equal to Z minus 1. This particular electron, once it is absorbing here, there is a vacancy is created here. Now that vacancy has been filled up here by the rearrangement of these electrons here. Due to that rearrangement of these electrons here, radiations are produced here now. That is called by the name here, it is characteristic excitation. That is the origin for the characteristic excitation. If the electron is jumping from higher energy to the lower energy here, radiations are produced. That is a characteristic excitation because of this rearrangement of the electrons. This is one concept. This is the one concept here now. Equation we can write it here. Equation we can write for this K electron capture here. Maybe if I am considering XAZ is the nucleus. XAZ is the nucleus. If an electron is absorbing here, now we are going to have a new nucleus here, that is Y, whose mass number remains same here. Number of neutrons and protons together, mass number of nucleons remains same here. But this nucleus, which is having Z minus 1 as the atomic number, because atomic number Z reduces to Z minus 1 here, because the number of protons is reduces to Z minus 1. With some amount of radiations are existing here. It is a general equation. Okay, a particular equation only if I want to write here, I can write zinc 63, that is the mass number. Atomic number for zinc is 30, plus an electron is absorbing here. This K shell electron, if it is absorbing here, now it is converting in the form of copper 63 plus 0, 63 here, 30 minus 1 is equal to 29. Copper atomic number is equal to 29. This is K electron capture. This is called by the name the K electron capture. So one concept is finished, that is K electron capture. Just to see that before I will going to talk about that one. Before I will going to talk about this one, just to see here, understand about this. Okay, yes, next concept. Nuclear isomerism or nuclear isomers. Nuclear isomerism or nuclear isomers. Nuclear isomers or nuclear isomerism. What do you mean by this nuclear isomers or nuclear isomerism here? Now let us consider two nuclei here. I will consider two nuclei. This is one nucleus. This is another nucleus. Both are having the same mass number. Both are having the same atomic number. Both are having the same neutron number. Both are having the same atomic number, means proton number. Proton numbers are same, neutron number is same. Everything is same. Same element also. No change in it, because Z is same means it must be the same element. But one is having an extra internal energy. If it is having an extra internal energy here, therefore internal structures are different. Both are similar nuclei. Mass numbers are same, atomic numbers are same. Only the difference between these two nuclei is said to be this internal energy. Due to this extra internal energy possessed by this nucleus, this is having slightly difference in their internal structure here. Now, these two are called by the name the nuclear isomers. They are called by the name the nuclear isomers. As an example, if I want to quote strontium 8738, one of the nuclei, another nucleus strontium 8738 with a star mark here. Star mark representing it is having an extra internal energy. Due to that extra internal energy, the two nuclei are said to be nuclear isomers. These are called by the name the nuclear isomers. Nuclear isomers. What are nuclear isomers? The two nuclei are said to be the nuclear isomers if they are having the same mass number, same atomic number, means number of protons are same, number of neutrons are same, but there is a small difference in their internal energy. Due to that internal energy, a small difference is there in the internal structure here. Now, that is called by the name, nuclear isomers. That is called by the name the nuclear isomers, and the phenomenon of showing this idea is called by the name the nuclear isomerism. It is called by the name the nuclear isomerism. So what is nuclear isomerism? The existence of nuclear isomers. The existence of nuclear isomers is called by the name the nuclear isomerism. Carries 2 marks. This carries 2 marks. And K electron capture, that we are asking for 2 marks question. Nuclear isomerism, that we are going to ask for about 2 marks question. Okay, follow this concept. Just you see that, understand about this phenomenon. Nuclear isomerism. Okay, next concept I will take up internal conversion. Okay, yes, next concept, internal conversion. What do you mean by this internal conversion? What is happening here in the case of internal conversion? We can understand this one in a better way if you know already about the beta decay process. I will write the beta decay concept here now. Already we have understood about the beta decay. As you are plotting the number of beta particles, if you are plotting along the y-axis, and their energy, if you are plotting along the x-axis here in terms of MeV, then you will be getting like this. Is it right? A curve you are going to. This is called by the name a continuous beta ray spectrum. In the case of continuous beta ray spectrum here, you are going to have some discrete spectrum here. This is discrete spectrum, beta ray spectrum. This is continuous spectrum. This is continuous spectrum, beta ray continuous spectrum. We already understood why this continuous spectrum it is coming up here. Why the energy of the beta rays is varying from 0 to a maximum energy here, well-defined maximum energy called by the name the endpoint energy. Already we have understood. Now we have to think about that why we are getting a discrete spectrum here, because of this internal conversion work. What is happening here? Let me consider a nucleus, XAZ nucleus. XAZ nucleus I am going to consider. XAZ nucleus. This XAZ nucleus containing Z number of protons and A minus Z number of neutrons. I can write that nucleus here. This is the nucleus. Okay, electrons are revolving around the nucleus. Already we are aware of this idea. Now let me consider this is the excited nucleus. This is already having an extra energy inside that, which is an excited nucleus is present here. That excited nucleus only I am talking about, this excited nucleus wants to come back to the ground level. It wants to come to the normal level. While it is coming to the normal level here, this extra energy will be given to the one of the orbital electrons. One of the orbital electrons. Usually it is giving its energy to the valence electrons only. Usually. But in some rare occasion it can give it to any other electron also. The electrons are revolving around the nucleus like this. If an electron is present here, which is loosely bound to the nucleus. This electron which is loosely bound to the nucleus, because the nucleus and the electron, which is said to be at a longer distance here, due to that longer distance here, the force of attraction between this electron and the nucleus is said to be small. But this K-share electron, if I am considering, the force of attraction is larger here because the distance of separation is said to be very small. F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 into Q2 divided by R square. That is the force between the two charges here. Electron is having negative charge, protons are having positive charge, there is a force of attraction. Lower classes already we have discussed about that, why the electron is revolving around the nucleus in a circular path, because there is an electrostatic force of attraction towards the nucleus. Here no, electron is attracted towards the nucleus. Due to that particular electrostatic force here, it is having a centripetal force mv square divided by r is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Ze into E divided by r square. That is a concept. So here electron is present here also electrons are present, here also electrons are present. Okay, now the excited nucleus, it is giving its energy to this electron. Now this electron is absorbing that extra energy and it is coming out of the orbit here, and it is coming out of the orbit here. That is called by the name internal conversion. That is called by the name the internal conversion. The excited nucleus, it is giving its energy to the orbital electron, not necessarily the valence electron, orbital electron. Now that orbital electron absorbing that energy, provided condition applied, that energy whatever we have supplied here from the nucleus to the electron, that energy must be more than that of the binding energy. Don't forget. So the meaning, the electron is attached to this nucleus. The electron is bounded to this nucleus. Because of that one only it is revolving around the nucleus. This electron is having a binding energy towards the nucleus. If you are supplying the energy to the electron more than that binding energy, then only it will come out. Or equal to that, at least we have to apply. Now let me consider if the binding energy between here to here, there is a binding energy is present here. I will write that binding energy is equal to E suffix E. E suffix E is the binding energy I can consider. Otherwise, okay, I will change the symbol here now. Maybe W is the binding energy. Maybe work function like that. It is a W is the binding energy between the electron to the nucleus. Whatever the energy is present here in the case of nucleus here, whatever we are giving the energy from here to here, that energy supplied to the electron, I am going to consider that is equal to E suffix E. What is that E suffix E? Available nuclear excitation energy. The available nuclear excitation energy. The excitation energy of the nucleus, whatever it has been given, imparted, it is given, it has been given to the electron, that is EE. Where the electron is bounded towards the nucleus, that binding energy is equal to W. Now the electron is coming out with a kinetic energy here. We can calculate kinetic energy very easily now using the law of conservation of energy. You can observe that the kinetic energy by which whatever it is coming out is equal to EE minus BE. The kinetic energy whatever it is comes out with this electron here, the electron is coming out of the orbit with an energy that is called by the name the kinetic energy. The kinetic energy is given by here EE, available energy, whatever it is given to the electron, minus this W, means kinetic. What is that? Binding energy. That is a binding energy. Now, once the electron is coming out here, with a kinetic energy here, then it is having a particular energy level only. That particular energy level is having a discrete. It is having a discrete here That is the idea that we have used in the case of beta ray spectrum. We got in the case of beta ray spectrum the discrete spectrum here. The discrete spectrum, because of this kinetic energy of the ejected electron, the kinetic energy of the emitted electrons from that orbit, due to this excited nucleus, the nucleus is giving its extra energy to the electron. The electron is coming out of the orbit with a kinetic energy. That energy is said to be having a discrete level here. Therefore, we are getting a discrete spectrum. This other concept. We are asking this question, internal conversion. We are asking for about 2 marks question. For 2 marks question, we are asking internal conversion. So go through this also. Next concept is mirror nuclei. I supposed to start with mirror nuclei. Now I will go into rub out these ideas. Whatever it is written on the board, I will go into rubbing out now. Just I will rub out. Okay. Next concept, mirror nuclei. You are aware of isobars. Okay. 2 marks question again. Mirror nuclei. 2 marks question. What are mirror nuclei? We are asking. What are mirror nuclei? I will give an example so that you can understand in a better way about the mirror nuclei. Some examples I will go into code. Before explaining what is mirror nuclei, I will write some examples. Example number 1, mirror nuclei. Hydrogen 3,1, H31. Either you write it here or here, no problem. Mass number 3, atomic number 1. And helium. Helium 3,2. Helium 3,2. Just you observe the whatever the examples that I am quoting here now. Just you observe. Carefully you have to observe this one. Example number 2. Carbon 14,6. Either you write like this, no problem. Mass number you can write it here or here, no problem. Carbon 14,6. Oxygen 14,8. Atomic number for oxygen is 8. Carbon atomic number is 6. Isotopes I have written. Carbon 12,6 is also present. Carbon 14,6 is also present. Oxygen 16,8 is also present. Oxygen 14,8 is also present. They are the isotopes for oxygen. Third one, number 3. We are asking like this, what are mirror nuclei? Give examples. What do you mean by mirror nuclei? Give examples we are asking for 2 marks question. Nitrogen 15, 7, atomic number 7. Oxygen 15. Oxygen 15,8. Just you observe these ideas, this and this and this, so that you can understand in a better way. Now in this case here, I will going to consider H31 and I will going to consider next one here, it is helium 3,2. Okay? H31, helium 3,2 that I have written. Just I will going to compare these two so that you can understand. Here, number of protons is equal to number of protons is equal to here number of neutrons is equal to. I already told you how to calculate the number of protons and number of neutrons. For your convenience that I will write it here. X, A, Z. Z representing the number of protons. Number of protons. A minus Z representing number of neutrons. Okay, use this concept. Use this concept here. Here, number of protons is equal to 1. Number of neutrons is equal to 3 minus 2. That is equal to 1. 3 minus 2. A minus Z. 3 minus 2. That is equal to 1. Next, here, number of neutrons is equal to how many? Here, number of protons is equal to how many? Here, number of neutrons, 3 minus 1 is equal to 2. Here, number of protons, atomic number, that is equal to 2. In both the cases here, mass number is equal to how much? 3. That remains same. Here. There is no change in the mass number. So, one element, first element, second element I will going to consider. First nucleus, second nucleus I will consider. First nucleus proton number is equal to second nucleus neutron number. Have understood? You see that? First nucleus protons number is equal to the second nucleus neutron number. Or I can consider the first nucleus neutrons number is equal to second nucleus protons number, where the mass number remains same. Then such two nuclei are called by the name mirror nuclei. When do you say mirror nuclei? The two nuclei are said to be the mirror nuclei. The two nuclei are said to be the mirror nuclei if the nuclei number 1, nuclei number 2, if I am choosing, first nucleus proton number is equal to second nucleus neutron number, and the second nucleus proton number is equal to the first nucleus neutron number. Here again I will repeat. Here the first nucleus proton number is equal to the second nucleus neutron number, and the first nucleus neutron number is equal to the second nucleus protons number, where both the cases the mass number remains same. Then such nuclei are called by the name mirror nuclei. These two are called by the name the mirror nuclei. Follow this. This carries 2 marks. What are mirror nuclei? What are mirror nuclei? Give examples, we are asking. Okay, just go through this, understand about the concepts.